So as you all should know, Dune has closed a bunch of servers, mine being one of them. So I had to switch servers, and I'm going to use that as an excuse, or I did use that as an excuse to build a new base and find a new, area to settle. I'm here on the shield wall near Griffin's Reach, as you can see over there, the Atreides base. And I have another cliffside manor, as my last two bases are. Here's the front side. I'll give you an aerial tour first. There's a little 360 of the base. Up front, you see the ramp, obviously for the mining buggy or whatever land vehicle I need to go out and do stuff. I went with this tower here, and I'll show you later. It turned into a resource tower, but I thought it looked cool. And I added it to kind of break up the box feel of the original section, the main section. Just add a little flare to the side. I'll show you the inside later. Then obviously we get to the big box area, which I'm not 100%, in love with, but it's the main hangar. And, with the carrier, you have to make it big enough to fit. I would love to make a smaller hangar, but it is what it is. And I try to make it kind of as pretty as I could up top without avoiding the box shape is pretty hard. So I try to break it up with this angled roof, kind of slope up top. Definitely some work I could add to it, but this is what I have for now. But the main hangar, it doesn't look horrible, it doesn't look great. Yeah, definitely could use some love, but it's hard when there's kind of nothing to angle down here. You see I tried to make, a little bit of flare down there, and I think that looks good, but overall it's still pretty boxy, but it is what it is for that carrier. I have my little side area. I'll show you the inside tour in a minute. Kind of just a little spot, to get out, maybe have a smoke break, whatever. And here's the cool part. So again, with the carrier, it's a kind of a pain to fit anywhere, and with that is obviously the sand crawler. And so I made this little kind of raised platform inside, so instead of the sand crawler taking up space, it's kind of above everything else inside. And so all the carrier has to do is fly out, and then it can pick it up just like this and move it out of my base, and then when I'm back I can just drop it there and not worry about it. So I really like that part. I think it's kind of efficient and kind of a neat way to get the sand crawler kind of out of the way. Now let's move to the inside. Okay, now moving in, you'll see the tower. I got the nice little ramp there. Here's the main door, and you'll walk in and you'll be greeted by, a bunch of stuff. We're gonna start with, we'll go to our tower. So right to the right, I have this nice little stairway up here. I didn't know what to do with this tower initially. It is still empty down here, mainly because there's rocks in the way. But I kind of just turned it into a resource tower. I got my generators, some of my water storage, more generators sitting up here. Definitely could do something else with this, but for now, just a nice place to store generators and water tanks, water storage out of here. Go back down, taking the scenery. And here, I'll call this my kind of garage and crafting area. Okay, we're gonna start with my garage area. Obviously, I got a buggy here. Here's the main piece. As I talked, that is the sandcrawler platform. So that's where it sits, that's where it'll live. It gets picked up right from there. It doesn't take up much space in the base because it's elevated. I think that's really cool. And then I think it's cool that I was kind of able to turn this into like a garage area for all the other vehicles. Got the tread wheel, my sand bike, and then here's my main buggy. I have the other one. Not sure why I have two, but that one's kind of just there. It's my main boy. I think it works well with the advanced vehicle fabricator. This just looks neat to me. I like it. And then with the garage area, kind of just flows into the crafting area. Just got all your crafting stuff, basic. Nothing really fancy with this area yet. If I decide to change it up, maybe I will. I haven't decided if I want to make the large spice refiner. If I did, I think I would replace this corner with it, but I guess we'll see when we get there. Here's my main water supply. So I have all the little ones in there, but this is where I like refill my, my canteen and stuff and drink from it. Then I have some overflow crafting this way, and yeah, we'll get to the hangar at the end. But first, I'll show you the living quarters. And I may have gone overboard with the trees. You'll see in a second. Right here, the entranceway, I added that medium wide door, and I just put it on the second level, so it kind of creates like this little archway. I think it goes well with the trees, so we're gonna head in here. And nothing much really in here, it's kind of all just cosmetics, RP, I guess you want to call it that. I got my dining table. I live alone, but I got, 2 chairs, maybe if I ever have friends on this game. Call this the war area, or the living room. I got my war table with my little figurines here. Check out where the spice blows are happening, where the harvesters are. A little talking area. Have some spiced tea, whatever you want to call it. My donkey. My bedroom, complete with there's no TV, but I got my statue I can look at. I got my little desert mouse, of course. Always hanging out, try to get him in a good spot. You can see the sandcrawler from here. I think that looks pretty cool. Then we're gonna go, we can check out the balcony first. My little smoke pit. I don't smoke, but I can come out here and see, what's up. Hang out right here. I think this area looks kind of cool. Then I got this area, and this is my storage tower. It's not really too practical, but it looks cool, and it's a good way. It's a good way to get all your storage in a tiny spot, because it's vertical instead of going long ways or whatever. Again, it's not efficient or really that practical, because to get to the spot, like if I want to access that top spot, I try to build a little ladder system instead of using. I know there's ladders in the game, but kind of just platforms, and I can just jump to it and access it. I figured I'd just put anything I really, access daily in these bottom two, and then everything else would be stuff I wouldn't pull out. I would just pull from it while crafting, like spice and other materials. But yeah, I think this looks pretty cool. Again, not practical, but give you an idea of how to do your storage. This could be something. Yep, that's the living area. Also in my living area, I have my little sacrifice station of blood and bodies, whatever. Okay, let's get to the hangar. And it's a hangar, so it's not too crazy, nothing too much going on. Just holds, the 3 vehicles. Come out from this end. And I said from the outside I don't really like it, but from the inside I think it does look pretty cool. I don't know, I think it looks kind of badass in here. But yep. And one thing I really liked is these little concrete blocks coming in from the foundations underneath, or the little ramps underneath, and I think they just look cool. And I like the way they line kind of the back here to kind of give an idea of where the vehicles can't pass, which obviously the carrier does. But yeah, I think those look cool. I put lights on them, good way to do it. But yeah, from the inside I think it looks really good. I had to do this. I don't really like using the penta shields on the hangars, because I think I don't know, sometimes they look cool, sometimes they don't. I kind of like the open better, but I was running instability issues up here. That's why it's not fully kind of got that weird look to it up there. This was not safe. It wasn't sheltered in base. So the only way to stop that would either be like redo my roof, which I, didn't have an idea of how to do, or just put a penta shield up. I think it looks fine. I just hate that I can't like get it to go all the way to the top, because it only does kind of squares. But it is what it is. And then another hidden part I put up here. It's another little hidden, you can put generators up here, as you see I did. You can put loot up here. You can do whatever you want up here, but I think it's a cool little kind of attic I got going on. But yeah, that's the full base, guys. Hope you like it. Hope maybe I inspired you to do something. Maybe you thought the platform was cool, or you just thought it was lame. Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you later.